Jyoti Aunty and the amazing Shama organization. My name is Madhuma Grover, and the reason why I have been invited today is to do a short talk on yoga, meditation, and prana. The reason why I get the opportunity to stand here and speak about these three topics is because I am a trained yoga teacher from India. I did my teacher's training from India way back in 2013. So it's been more than, I don't know, do the math, quite a long time I've been teaching yoga, meditation, and pranayama. How yoga is done in India is really different the way yoga is done here in this country. That is the first thing that I noticed. How is it different? Because here in this country, what I realized is that yoga is a form of exercise, physical activity, a means to lose weight, a means to do certain poses, crazy poses, and what I have called them are pretzel poses, and which has its own benefits, of course. It has its own benefits. However, in India, the concept of yoga, the philosophy of yoga, thousands and thousands of years back when it was created, the purpose of yoga was very different. The purpose of yoga, if I have to share it in one sentence, is to allow each and every human being to reach their highest potential. And each one of these strangers can reach their highest potential. There is only one thing that is stopping you today, and that is the mind. Right? Now, you will be like, hey, but my mind is my biggest tool. My mind is the most intelligent tool that I have been given, right? Because my mind today, I am the most intelligent species on the planet Earth. I have reached the space, I have explored the ocean, I am inventing newer and newer technologies every day because of my mind. But just look at that. The one human pursuit that we all are striving for, mental peace, happiness, is still eluding us, right? No matter how much money you make, or no matter which car you drive, no matter how many mansions you own, yet there is something missing. And that something that is missing is because of the mind. And that is what the yogis identified in the human existence. So the purpose of yoga is to help each one of us reach to the highest potential, and yoga believes that each and every one of us has it in themselves. Yoga, as per the scriptures, which was the most important scripture that is written by Patanjali, which is known as the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Mind you, in that sutra, it is a combination of close to 108 sutras. There is only one sutra, there is only one statement that he talks about the asana, the pose that we do on the mat. There is only one sentence that is given for the pose. And the sentence is Sthiram Sukham Asana. What it means is that your pose, your asana, whatever you are doing on the mat, has to be Sthiram means stable, Sukham means comfortable pose. Now, somebody would be doing a headstand and he would be looking comfortable and absolutely still doing that headstand. And that is what Patanjali talks about. That whatever pose you do, if you are able to hold the pose for let's say 5 breaths and you are completely still and comfortable doing that pose, that is the right pose for you. And that changes with every day. So someday you are more flexible and you might be able to do the same pose in a very stable manner. Someday you are not. The day that you are not able to do it, what comes up? Your ego. Right? You start questioning, hey, why am I not able to do it today? I was able to do it yesterday, but today I am not able to do it. And then what happens? You become dissatisfied. Right? You become dissatisfied with your own yoga practice. And the moment you become dissatisfied with your own yoga practice, what happens? You are not happy. Right? So this is where your mind plays a game. So the mind is the biggest friend, and the mind is the biggest foe if you know how to use it. That is what yoga talks about. The first step in yoga is the asana practice, which is the mat that we all know about, the warrior pose, the triangle pose, the headstand, the dolphin pose, the lizard pose. You name any animal and there is a pose, right? So there are so many poses that we need to learn about. but that is just the first step towards the entire yoga practice. In fact, yoga is made up of 8 steps. Out of those 8 steps, asana is just one step. Just one. Before that, there is a yama and a niyama. Yama are these personal rules and regulations that you follow while you are living as a human being with yourself and with the society. Right? So, for example, I will be kind, I will be compassionate, I will be clean, right? In my mind and in my body. So, there are any number of yamas and niyamas. We are not going to talk about that today. We are going to move from the asana to the next step, which is the breath work, the pranayama. Pranayama. That is how the 2 words are made. Pran is the life force that is making me alive today. The day I die, Pran is going to leave from my body. Right? There is something within me which is keeping me alive today. What is making my heart beat? What is ensuring that I am digesting the food? There is some form of an energy that moves in my body. It is a chemical energy, it is a biological energy, it is an electrical energy. There is some energy that is there in me which is keeping me alive today. That energy is known as prana in Sanskrit. And pranayama means expansion of prana. That means I expand my life energy using breath work. So breath work is not simply sitting down and taking a full breath in and complete breath out. The purpose of pranayama is a very simple goal. The purpose is to expand your life energy. What happens when you expand your life energy? Well, you are able to control your mind. Right? Have you ever noticed that when you are low in energy, your mood is not that good? Right? When you are low in energy, everything seems bad. When you are low in energy, people around you are horrible. That is the people around you. But because your energy is low, the world seems dark in a way. So yoga says, if you keep your energy high, then the world is a better place to live in. So that is pranayama. There are many practices that you do to expand your life energy. The biggest takeaway that I want you to remember is keep your belly relaxed. Keep your belly relaxed and take a full breath in by expanding your belly, and take a breath out, belly comes in. Always use breath using your belly. Abdominal breathing is what we call in yoga. But most of the time, if you just notice right now, just notice how you're breathing. It's going to be a chest breathing. Especially for women. We women have a tendency to put our belly in because, we have to have a flat stomach all the time, right? So we all have a tendency to put our belly in, and then what happens is we're always breathing in and out through our chest. The lower lobes of your lungs never get an opportunity to fill themselves with air. So full breath in, complete breath out is the first step towards pranayama. If you don't know any of the practices, simply do abdominal breathing, you are done. That is pranayama. And once your energy is high, and once your mind is settled, and once you are relaxed, what is it that happens to you? What happens is meditation. Meditation is not something that you do. Meditation is something that happens to you when you are in a relaxed state of mind. That is what is written in yoga scriptures. You do not sit down and do meditation. You do not consciously take a decision to start doing meditation. No, you can never do meditation like that. Because if you are not in a relaxed state of mind, you will never achieve any form of meditation. So you do mat work, you relax your body, you stretch your body, blood is flowing well, you do your breath work, you balance your energies in your physical body, you relax your mind using your breath, and then when you settle down without making any movements in your body, meditation happens all by itself. In Hindi, we call it dhyan ghatit hota hai. That means you fall into meditation. Right? And once you are in meditation, why should I meditate? Because when I meditate, when my mind finally stops its incessant chatter, that is when I know who am I. Who am I truly? Irrespective of gender, class, background, we are all made up of one source of energy. We are all source of energy, right? We are all one thing, beyond the colors and the faces and the gender and everything. Who is that?